So, so. Hello and welcome back to the next episode of the Self Development. I'm fucking pumped episode of the Self Development with Tactics podcast. And as you can see in the background, the myth, the legend, the one and only Gary Vee is there. With this book hashtag Ask Gary Vee, which is definitely a book I was really looking forward to even buy, because I was like, yeah, there must be so much in this book, because there are questions and there are answers, and a lot of people do just have the same questions as I may have, and therefore this would actually be a great book. But the good thing is I have seen that on the paulminers.com website there is actually a summary of this book, which I'm pretty fucking pumped about to now go through. I was just before looking at another book of Jen Sincero. She's an entrepreneur, I think, and a life coach and all this stuff. And the book was about a money mindset kind of thing, which is, something that's not totally new, because, Think and Grow Rich is actually such a book. And, there are a lot of books which are just, about the mindset of getting rich. I don't know if it's really only about the mindset. It could be. Tony Robbins says that it is 80% of your actual skills and 80% of the right mindset, and 20% of your actual skills to be a good entrepreneur or whatever, to just make money. But as I said, we go through Ask Gary Vee this time. I'm pretty fucking pumped for this one, because I think there is just a lot in it. So in hashtag Ask Gary Vee, Gary Vaynerchuk responds to some of his most asked and most interesting questions from his popular show. He covers a range of topics from starting out in the business world, technology, education, and running a business with family, to influencer marketing and emerging social media platforms. Whether you are a new employee, a manager, or starting up a side hustle, this is a great guide for some humorous insights and useful real-world examples. In this post, I share some of my favorite messages, concepts, and quotes from hashtag Ask Gary Vee. And the first one is Clouds and Dirt. And if you do just follow a little bit him and know a little bit about him, Cloud and Dirt is actually some kind of his approach to life, some sorta, and therefore he also named his new shoes. I think they are not actually that new, but his collaboration with K-Swiss. These shoes are called Clouds and Dirts. So the first shoes, I think there are other shoes which are, I'm not quite sure, named differently. But yeah, they look pretty cool. I think even though Gary hasn't been really, looking at the design part of the shoe, rather than, the real cooperation with K-Swiss and, the branding and the marketing of it, the design is great. Yeah. So the clouds don't just represent the big picture, they represent the huge picture, the everything. They are not goals. Goals can be achieved and set aside or moved. The dirt is about being a practitioner and executing towards those clouds. It's the hard work. Yeah, definitely, everything is hard work, and I always just really want to underline and really want to point out that if you do not have the talent, I do not have that much talent as well, especially not in speaking English, because I can't really speak that good English. So I do not have the talent, I do have the fundamentals, and I do have hard work. And, we all are able to outwork everyone else. And this is definitely something I want to emphasize a little bit more, because it's actually the truth. You do not have the talent, or you may do not have the money, or you may do not have the real, everything else, but you can just still work on it and just do your best. And yeah. No. I hope nothing happened here. Just want to put up my light and go into WhatsApp so everything is set, and I can actually see if there's somebody who is needing me or whatever. Okay, execution and prioritization. Ideas are worthless without the execution. Totally, no debate about this one. Execution is pointless without the idea. Definitely as well. You have to learn to prioritize properly and quickly identify what's going to move you further ahead and what's going to make you stall. pretty great advice, and pretty nice that he actually says that, you may be executing, but if you do not know where you're going to get, or what your actual goal is, then just a lot of execution won't give you anything. So therefore you just need an idea, and you actually need to work on it, and this should be in a good relation to each other. Cash is oxygen, definitely, and this is something that I've been thinking about quite a lot lately, because I was like, in terms of the podcast, I could monetize it if I want to, but the thing is, I wouldn't make any money out of it, because it's actually only available in the United States and in Canada, and therefore I won't be able to just practically do it. Theoretically, yes, but practically it wouldn't give me any money. So yeah, and on the other side, I thought like, okay, but what if the people just respond negatively towards it? So just have a sponsored segment into one of the posts in the podcast itself, maybe a little bit disturbing and maybe not that good, but but I actually know that I need cash, I need money to exist, I need money to live, and therefore sometimes, and if I really want to just live from what I'm doing right now, or live partly from what I'm doing right now, I will just have to monetize it in some way. This is, there's no way around this, because I can live without cash. I can live without money. So cash is oxygen. There's one thing that always transcends everything else, and that's cash. It's the oxygen of your business, totally. You can make the greatest cup of coffee, the greatest sneaker, the greatest TV show, or the greatest work of art ever, but if you can't sell your product, you're out of business. So your first priority is sales, because it generates cash, and cash is what allows you to do everything else. Without it, you are a fish out of water, gasping for breath. Totally. That's totally right, and it totally makes sense. And this is, I think, also a big problem of all these startups. They may have a really big and good idea, but they can't sell it. And if they do not, generate money on their own and just live from the fundings, and all people are that are donating, under quotation marks please, donating something, this might not work that good. Because if you do not, or if you aren't able to generate cash on yourself, just having a business might be a little bit difficult. Focus on strengths. I definitely feel like he's going to say, yes, you shouldn't just work on your flaws, but you should work on your strengths, because actually getting some kind of mediocre in something you aren't good at yet just takes up so many fucking hours and so much amount of time, that just working on your strengths and getting the best at your at where you're good at right now is more intelligent and more it's just better, because if you're just good at something and or talented even something at something that then it is so fast that you can actually be able to get the best in the market when or in doing this. But let's see what he says. Focus on your strengths. What else are you really good at? Design, growth hacking, nail these skills down and then drill deep with them. If cash is your company's oxygen, your strongest skills are its DNA. Develop and cultivate them, because they will be the hallmark of your company. Bet on your strengths. It's an underrated business strategy in a world where so many people are obsessed with fixing their weaknesses. They give short thrift to the skills they were born with. That's totally right, and I do think I do not have to say anything about this anymore. I think this is it, totally it. So, but I want to emphasize it a little bit more, I think. And that's definitely true, I think, because, as I said, just getting some kind of good at something you aren't good yet will take, just a lot of time. And most of the people, and especially I, do not have the time. And it's much more intelligent and much more better easily to work on something you're actually good at. And at my point of view, the things you're good at are also the things you like, because you're good at them and maybe you're the best at them even. And if you really get the best at them, this really creates a framework where you just, like what you're doing and you're actually the best in the market. Therefore, you can practically just charge anything for the service you're making if you are the best in this area or in this market. Starting out, finding a job that's the right fit. If you can't find a quality company to pay you to work for them, apply for an internship so you can prove your chops. Unless you are literally sending out resumes and interviewing 18 hours straight per day, you've got time to volunteer your professional talent somewhere. Find a place where you think you can make doors open and put your skills into action. We have become too entitled, go out and earn that job. Totally. And I would even say that you should earn or just work for someone without actually getting something back. If it is really a person you just, really much admire and you pretty want to be like him or her, then you should definitely do this. And this is actually the same framework I've been having while applying for all my internships I'm, going to have or going to attend maybe. That money is actually something that initially I thought about like, yeah, I don't quite really want to work for nothing, especially if I do not learn anything. This is really the point. If I do not learn anything or if I do not get any experience at this job or at this place, I definitely want some money, because then it's like, okay, I got nothing, totally nothing out of it, even money. So yeah, what should I do with it? But if it is really a place where I know that I can learn such a lot of things and I can just, have a little bit or get a little bit more experience, then I will definitely say, yeah, okay, I just, work for nothing, but I will just get a lot of information and experience and things that, help me on my way, which is, totally worth it then. Gary has even said once, or just often quite, that he actually would just say that people should really work for someone they admire for free while they are working at, I don't know, Walmart or some shitty place to earn that money to actually live. Therefore, you might or should actually be conscious about the fact that you won't have that luxurious life if you do work for Walmart or some other company that's paying not that well, as I've recognized just lately because of the book of Sam Walton and the Walmart story, that he actually doesn't pay that well, but yeah. Totally. So you do not have a luxurious life, but you learn a lot, and you definitely can use then your skills to some sort of monetize them and use them for your advantage in the later on. And I think it's always, and just nowadays, it's always about the long term. Thinking about the short term things like getting satisfied just pretty much now is something a lot of people shouldn't do, because it's not good. It's like, I'll smoke a cigarette now, but I will die in 20, 30, 50 years. Why would you do this? It's, I don't know. And always be there for your bros. If some friends, I always just find it so fucked up if people just write something down in a group or WhatsApp group and nobody just replies. It's not like you do not have any time to reply for one fucking message. That's not a work. You just do it in 1 second, in 2 seconds, but it would make somebody's day, especially if they just need something. If they need just a little bit of information. Just, one thing, like, a bro of mine just asked me what the first test in art history was, so what he has to learn for it, and I just, replied in 1 second. That's nothing like work. So just reply, motherfucker. Yeah, choosing a name. There is no science to choosing a business name. People will agonize for hours, weeks, months trying to figure out the name for their startup, hunting for the perfect, singy, creative name that allows them to stand out and disrupt the category. You want to know how you stand out and disrupt the category? It has nothing to do with your name, just stand out and distribute and disrupt the category by actually working and just proving that you actually are the best in the fucking market. Definitely. Even though I would say, and this was actually the reason why I have renamed all my social media profiles, and that is really more about my personal brand, and it is a little bit more easily to recognize, because having underlines and some special characters in your name, especially on social media, is something you should not have. A lot of people who are actually famous and are successful with their accounts or with their social media do have it totally, so everything is possible. But at my point of view, it just is a little bit better to have just a name. Like I've named myself Walch Christopher right now. Before it was self development underscore WT, which was something I thought like, nobody actually understands what this is. But a downside of this is that I just changed it, is that when you search for self development, my account would have appeared, I think, if it was really big. And now nobody quite will recognize by my name what I'm actually doing. So full-time job to entrepreneur or entrepreneur, I think it is actually called in France. So if you are between the ages of 18 and 29 and you are miserable whenever you work for anyone but yourself, and you feel relentless and you believe in your bones that you have got what it takes to run your own show, go do it. Go do it before you take on the responsibilities of a mortgage or a family, before your parents start to need you or you adopt a dog. Do it now while the only person you have to worry about is you. And that's definitely the point. And this really shows me another side of why he always says that you shouldn't actually go straight into university after you have just graduated from college. And for me, it makes sense as well, because after college, you just have the time to really try to, as he says, get the next Beyonce, or just, have your own company and all these things. But if you're just, straight ahead going to university, you first of all lose a lot of time. And second of all, you might just waste a lot of time as well, because sometimes it just, appears that you do not have or do not actually want to do what you actually learned in university. So after a few years, you're like, yeah, you know what, I don't like it anymore. And so you have wasted a lot of time, and also wasted time in terms of you're way older, and so therefore you do not have maybe not that much of energy, but also because you have just wasted a lot of time in terms of, you didn't start as early as you could, if you understand what I mean right now. But there was something I also wanted to say, another point of that, but never mind. So start something. The best way to become something is to do the work required to become something. Sell. Figure out what it takes to provide value, learn how to communicate your value proposition, engage with your customers, find mentors, go work for free, and under people who can show you the ropes and serves as the point of contact when you need it. Learn the hustle and taste the game. Put yourself in a position to win. Stop waiting for the perfect moment to jump, because it will never come. Start doing whatever it takes, even if that means selling the very t-shirt off your back. Yeah, that's definitely a little bit tough, but it is actually, just the reality. If you do want to become very, very, very famous or very, very successful, you just have to do what it takes to get very, very famous and very, very successful. And often it is like, you just have to work, a lot of work. And you just have to, I don't know what it takes, because I'm not successful yet. So be a hobbyist. There are a lot of people who are able to enjoy being hobby entrepreneurs because their joy is in the process and not in the outcome. So they make maybe 10 to 40k on the side doing something they love, and they are satisfied with this because they don't need to make $1 billion to be happy. If you've gotten to a point in your life where you can't ditch everything to follow your dreams, being a hobbyist often gives you the best of both worlds. Definitely, and it's definitely a good advice, and this is, I think, definitely, again, the point where I will start after I've graduated. I will definitely go to somebody I admire and work for them, maybe not for free, but just, for a little wage. But I will definitely just, keep on doing the stuff that I'm doing right now. And I'm pretty happy and kind of proud as well that I just started it so early, because it just, gives me more time and to have more leverage. And I still believe that, if I am in the real world and in a real economy, I do have a lot more to talk about, and a lot more experience and a lot more that I could actually, give somebody value about as well. I will definitely just do what I'm doing right now, I hope, besides my job, because, why not? I do have so many 3 hours and hours of leisure time, and I won't just sit around at home and just watch TV or just watch Netflix or some shit like this. It would always depend though whether I like this even more, or I like this even, in 2, 3, 4 years. But if not, I will just do something else. Totally. Why would I not do something? I do not really like to be bored. Definitely not. I just like to do something all the time so that I do have something to do. It's not like, I do. I hate to be bored. This is the fact, and this is why I just do a lot of things or want to do a lot of things. And let's talk about fear. There is no doubt that taking that first step can be terrifying, but would you be so afraid if you knew no one was watching? See, what really scares people is not fear of failure, but fear of failing in front of someone who matters, like your mom or your dad, your best friend, and none of us wants to disappoint someone we admire. But if you want to be an entrepreneur, if that's what you really, really want, and this is really great that he points it out, because being an entrepreneur is something that is just in a hype nowadays. Just people say it like, it's something so good and you should totally be an entrepreneur as well and everybody should be one and whatever. But first of all, some people just do not or can't be one because they are not talented in this area or they're just not born for this. And second of all, it is a lot of work and therefore it wouldn't fit anybody's life or everybody's life. So therefore, you just really have to be sure and really have to be honest to yourself. If this is actually something you can do, first of all, and second of all, if this is actually something you want to do, because only because it's such a hype nowadays doesn't mean that you should actually do it. Because if it is working for you, then you should definitely not do it. Where did I stop? If that's what you really, really want, you cannot give a shit about what other people think of you, not even your parents. Definitely. Because, everybody just has their own opinions, everybody just, talks and thinks in their manners and whatever. And a lot of people do not just, think about in your terms or in your interest, actually. And a lot of people just dismiss that you might like it or you just like it and this is your business and this is what you like and this is what you love to do and whatever, this is what you're passionate about. And a lot of people just think about themselves and therefore it's always just about opinions and whatever. So just do what you like to do, no matter who is just against it or who is just saying to you, okay, you know what, I think you're not fitting that much and whatever, just do it. Taking a product to market, apply your time and energy to where there is fertile ground. It might take a lot of work to find a customer base, but it sure beats wasting your breath on people who are never going to help you out. The right partnerships. Everyone has something to offer, but instead of asking them to do something for you, ask what you could do for them. That's definitely a good advice, and this is one of the reasons why I really want to start out with a new Instagram and social media site besides the self-development thing and besides my own personal brand now, because I do really first of all want to have the experience of it, and I do because it's in terms of products, I want to do something with physical products so that I actually know what it is like with the distribution, what it is with customers, custom support and so on. But I just think I will do it in a charity way, so it will be just my artwork on print-on-demand products like t-shirts and or I don't know, mugs and all these things, and I will just sell them with a print-on-demand service like Teespring or Artist Shop or there's so much. I do have to see what's working the best for me, and I will just put in just 20% of my time, and 80% of my time will then be on my or put into my personal brand. So why I do this? First of all, because I learned something from it, and second of all, I do not really like to work on one single thing all the fucking time. This is not something I would really like to do for my whole life, and therefore I just try out things and just try to learn things and see if this is working for me. And third of all, it is pretty good for me to actually have my creativity and just be creative in whatever way I want to and just write everything I want to, which is definitely something that in my personal brand I'm not always able to do, because I do just have to see, okay, is this working? Should I do this? And whatever. And in an artist way or artistic way, it doesn't even matter if you can't actually read this fucking text that I'm putting up there. It just has to look good for me or just feel good for me, and whatever. The right partners, now I've read that, getting the first customers. To get those first 10 customers, you have to grind. You can't be shy, my friend. Just roll up to every single person in the world who might possibly buy your stuff, meaning who already buys into at least the concept of your idea or product. See 2 questions up and ask them to buy your stuff. Totally. The competition. Every industry has its market leaders, companies who have done good work in the past and have become the default solution for their client base. Your goal is to become one of those leaders who are automatic go-tos. Definitely. And this is something I think about, like maybe real big advertisement agencies like VaynerMedia, for example, because they're in the game for so long and they do have so much experience and so much experienced people in there. They will definitely have a much bigger customer base, not because they are good, but because they are there and they have the experience and they have a monopoly, some sort of, not really because they are good. And this is the thing. Often it is like the actual leaders of a particular market do not actually have to be the best ones or the most innovative ones, or they do not need to have the newest tech or whatever. But they're actually, the first ones and, like the go-to persons. Going at it alone, the first one is be practical. How much money do you have to stay alive and for how long? Do you have enough money to cover rent, expenses, and especially anticipated and unexpected ones, and overhead for a year? You should. Be prepared to sacrifice the minute you decide to launch a new business. I'm so sorry. Launch a new business, you also make the decision to do something else, but that for the next year and maybe even for 2 years, but build your business. Every minute of every 18-hour day should be dedicated to this endeavor. And why he says 18-hour day? Because we all just count as, okay, you have 24 hours a day and you sleep 6 hours and then you just have 18 hours left. If I calculated that correctly. I don't know. But yeah. Where did I stop? They should be dedicated to this endeavor. Your business success will come at the expense of your family time, friend time, vacations, and any other hobbies or activities you once enjoyed. And this is also one of the reasons why you should definitely just choose something you actually love and you're actually passionate about as a business. Because, you just have to be conscious about the fact that you will just work a lot on it. And if you do not enjoy what you're working on just 24 hours a day practically, or 18 hours a day, then it might not be the best thing to do. This business has to be your entire life or it will die. Plan B, have a hardcore plan A alongside a deeply practical plan B. You would be crazy not at least consider what you would do should your entrepreneurial venture fall apart. I've been talking about this quite often in the last few episodes. It is a pretty hard one because Arnold Schwarzenegger always says that, or once said, he's not always saying it, but I think it's just his opinion, so he would practically always say it, that you shouldn't have a plan B, because if you have a plan B, this will totally distract you from plan A. This is, I think, actually something that Les Brown also said, so it's not also only Arnold, but yeah. Then the hustle. It's maximizing the energy you put into what you're passionate about, squeezing every last bit of juice out of your day. It's putting all your effort into achieving the goal at hand, making every minute count every single minute. Making every minute count every single minute. Definitely great. Super. I just did get an email from one of my internship or maybe internships. Therefore, I will just have to reply quite quickly because I do not want him to wait that long, because I think it doesn't look good, or I don't know, it just doesn't seem to feel good. But yeah, small business owner with limited budget. Work more, whatever it is you're doing, add a few more hours of hustle. It's the greatest way to shore up the gap between you and a bigger competitor. I promise you, Goliath will never work as hard as you do. Totally, definitely. Personal brand. Don't ever think you can hack expertise and branding by relying on social media and modern tech. It is no substitute for honest hard work. You have to execute and accomplish something before earning the privilege of being a personal brand. Definitely. Therefore, for me just saying like, yeah, I'm the best entrepreneur, I know so much about it, is wrong. I'm on a journey. I just learn right now. I just learn right now. Why? Because I want to learn it, and I'm not saying like, yeah, I'm the best, I will teach you this shit and whatever. I am on a journey, I am learning, and I still do have a personal brand in terms of a social media guy, a YouTuber, whatever, but I'll do this because I do just, first of all, get the knowledge in that I will just maybe need for actually having a real business, and second of all, I really get to know how I could market my social media things, what's good in terms of my audience, what they like, and what's good in terms of social media. So there are certain things that work just well, and I've seen in terms of real statistics that certain things just are better than other things. Just a real quick one. If you do have a text on Instagram, it's way better and you will get more likes. So in terms of me, it was like this. If you just point something out or emphasize something with color. If you do have a plain white text, then just emphasize some things with, I don't know, red or something very bright, so that it will just, get more attention, or will just, get more attention. Harder and faster. You need to work harder and faster. Working harder is easy. Drop the hour you're watching Scandal and Viola and you've got more time to hustle. Working faster, however, is a little trickier. It takes practice. Train yourself to do a little bit more in each hour than you normally would. Maybe you save checking your emails until lunch, maybe you turn off your phone, and maybe you work odd hours. Totally. And I think it's totally great that he points out that it is maybe, because if it is not working for you, then do just something else. He doesn't suggest you to do this certain thing to get more productive, but just do what works for you. Totally. Content and context. Even as the platforms and distribution channels change, the rules of good storytelling have remained the same for business since the beginning of commerce. The quality of a brand's storytelling is directly proportional to the quality of its content. If it's not good, no one will pay attention. If it is why it's so vitally important that everyone from big organizations to solopreneurs to small companies start thinking and acting like media companies. Totally true, and this is something I do think about quite often, that he says, we all should just work as media companies. Totally true, and besides that, which is some kind of related to that, having a good product is the key to having good marketing, because marketing, or to market a good product, or to market a bad product wouldn't just work. Even if you'd be like, it's the best product and whatever, people just buy it once and then they be like, okay, it's shit, and they will buy it never ever. And therefore, you can't really just market a bad product, only a good one. So work on your product first and then just market it. It's quite funny that I give advice, because I do not know anything, but it makes for me sense, and I do quite wanna give you something to think about, some sort of. And as I said, I'm still on my fucking journey, so therefore take everything with a grain of salt. I think this will actually be it with this episode, because I want to have something for the next episode as well. I'm a little bit sorry, because the next episode will just be tomorrow, because I'm quite in a hurry, because I do wanted to do these 4 episodes for today, and tomorrow today, which is quite hard work. It comes up to how long I really make them. So this is now a 35-minute episode. It's quite okay. But by the way, I do really want to know if you like longer episodes or shorter ones. Half an hour is quite something, totally, but I've had hours, I've had 1 hour episodes, I've had 45 minutes episodes, and 50-minute episodes. Just the last one was 50-minute, I guess. That's quite normal for me, and it's quite usually that these episodes are just a little bit longer, because I do put as much things into it as I can. But I do also believe in that maybe shorter episodes would be better for people who are just willing to get more information, and more information. But yeah, I wish you a wonderful day. I wish you health, wealth, success, happiness, that you give something back, hopefully, and a great legacy. And with this being said, I'm Christopher Walch, and I see you the next time.